Hi, I am Megan Lane, the intuitive actress, also known as Megan LeFey, which is my business name slash nickname. I'll post links below if you ever want to work with me individually. But I just wanted to talk today about stepping into your soul's purpose and also about trusting your desires. We tend to have soul desires that are deep within us and they may not make sense to us. Sometimes they are past life related. I know I've got a lot of that stuff. Things that you are just naturally drawn to because in other lifetimes you were those things or loved those things. Or that may explain like child prodigies like Beethoven. May not have been his first um, lifetime as a musician, composer. I think it was Beethoven. I can't remember who the child one was. Maybe it was Mozart. Anyway, or both. But that's my point. Like maybe it's sometimes it's past life related, the reason the desires are already in us. Sometimes we're being led to other things. So we're very afraid. We're taught you grow up, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, yada, yada, yada. We're very programmed to, we're supposed to want certain things. And when often we don't feel like we're in alignment with our society or wanting the things that we're supposed to want, we think something is wrong with us. There's a serious lack of trust going on across the board, some more than others, about trusting our desires and trusting that what has gotten put into our hearts is there for a reason. Um, for instance, you might be wondering why I'm wearing this silly tiara. Um, it just reminded me of a story. When I bought this, my friend Fiona was visiting, and her boyfriend, who we call Bonus, it's his fun nickname slash last name, and I was with her and we were just shopping for fun and I saw this and I was like, oh, it's so pretty and it's so ridiculous and it's vintage and I don't want to spend that much money on something I don't need. And she's like, do it, do it. Are you crazy? That woman, who is one of my best friends, probably is the happiest person I know that I can think of, aside from when my grandmother was alive. She reminds me of her because they live in their desires and they embody them. They don't just dream and put it into the someday and dream about this picture perfect, what I think I should have future. They actually live it, embody it, and it's very unique. Like this girl chases down the best nail artists in the country, and when she's in town, she'll seek them out to go do them because nail art makes her so happy. She's kind of wild too. Like we've definitely had more spontaneous moments of the day we met. We were like, let's hang out, and we just hit it off right away. So we ended up hanging out all night. She showed me all her unicorn pictures of herself in costume. And she's like, you gotta be my boyfriend. So that night we went over and drank champagne and ate dessert and met her boyfriend. And we all are still amazingly great friends. We traveled together to New Orleans this year. She's coming to visit me in LA for the second time this year. So we all lived in Austin together. But my point is, she's a woman who follows her desires. And by doing so, she's created this incredible business. She's like the most independent business owner, live her own kind of way, travels constantly kind of person with a great partner. Um, and I've learned a lot from her, even though I also think I'm a woman who embodies a lot of my desires and created a lot of them. And what's funny is when you allow yourself to go towards what your soul is craving, go towards what your passion in life truly is, where the energy is, money tends to follow. Happiness, joy, energy tends to follow. Success tends to follow. But when you don't go all in or go into fear or put blocks in your own way, things tend to get frustrating. Sometimes as actors, it's really hard because sometimes we don't have control over the market or if whether your type is in fashion this season or whatever. But if you're constantly moving forward and really truly embodying the desire and really owning it, usually you'll do well just with basic persistence, even if there's ups and downs. It makes me very sad when people think maybe I wasn't cut out for this. I mean, it isn't for everybody. It's a tough market, but people who really have loved it their whole lives and have been given the gift of talent as well, um, it's like you have to go towards those desires with some serious mission-like energy. And I'm saying go towards the desire. I'm not saying go towards the I have to have it happen or force it to happen, because it tends to drop us into the allowing it to happen, being open to the miracle. And For example, I'll tell a little quick story about myself. Um, as a kid, as a small, maybe around middle school age, I got fascinated with the tarot cards. A lot of people don't know how I became an intuitive or professional psychic. I started out just being super fascinated by the tarot cards. My mom's friend Marilyn, who is, it's funny, a lot of Marilyns in my life have become like the most psychic or teachers. So it's like a sign if I meet someone named Marilyn. But anyway, she did our cards every New Year's. And I was fascinated. I'm like, how do these cards know what's going on in my life? That's amazing. So I started studying them in the eighth grade. And I found it very natural and very easy, and it felt very familiar. And I did it more and more and more, and I did it for fun in college. I did it for all the theater department, dance department, sorority, anybody who wanted a reading from me. I just did it for free for years and years, and did it a ton in college. And eventually, people were like, you need to start charging, and I was like, I never knew, I couldn't have fathomed my little interests in like magic um, and helping people would come to this career that has supporting me completely in LA as an actress, which is my other thing I've always loved. In preschool, I was putting on plays that I wrote, casting in them, starring in them, and costuming them with paper costumes I would make. They're all the things I still love: directing, writing, acting, and costumes. I'm like, there you go. I had no idea this other magical side. I was always making potions as a little kid too. Would eventually support the other dream. I never was this independent or had the life I wanted until I followed the desire and the natural flowing energy that kept opening up. And when doors opened, I kept walking through them. When I was in Austin, I was at a restaurant with my boyfriend at the time, and the owner came over and we were just talking shop, and she was talking about how she wanted to have a tarot card reader there. Maybe she already had belly dancers there. She's like a famous belly dancer in her day. And I was like, I'm a tarot card reader. Are you kidding? So she's like, do you have your cards? I'm like, they're in the car. And I ended up opening, starting out by reading there. And then I'm like, well, how about the marketplace? So I started renting a booth in the marketplaces of Austin, aside from the artists and those people. And then the demand grew so much, and the Yelp reviews kept getting written to the point where I had to open up out of home because I couldn't keep meeting people out. So my business kind of built itself, but it's a business based on things that I love and love doing. I also always thought about maybe going into being a therapist if I wasn't going to be an actor, because I really like to help people. I really care about, I have a nurturing side. I love getting into emotional depths, and but I didn't want to go to school. I was ready to be done with school by the time I graduated. It's not really my thing, even though I love to learn. I don't love the traditional non-hands-on sit and get lectured kind of learning as much. So it all kind of worked itself out. But my point is, if you want to live a life full of authenticity and happiness and joy, you're going to have to allow yourself to explore what you feel drawn to. Allow yourself to study what fuels your soul, what gets you excited. When I'm reading people, I mean, even over the phone I can read people, but when they're in front of me, you can tell when someone really loves something or when they just think they do or think they should. Even if they tell me they love someone, we've all had this experience with like, I love her so much, I'm so in love with her, and their eyes are dead. You're like, do you really? Same thing, like, I'm going to go to law school, I want to be a lawyer. A lot of people will say things like that, and I'm like, no, you don't. Because that magic, it just doesn't light up. It's like, and then I'll be like, what do you really want to do? And they'll say acting, and their eyes will light up, or writing, or whatever the thing is. It doesn't always have to be creative, but often it has that kind of spark to it. So you have to let yourself try, at least, I tell people, you don't have to know what your entire path is going to be, how it's all going to play out. But it is really good to let yourself at least explore it. Dip one toe in the water of that hot tub and see how the water feels. Is it too hot? Does it feel right to you? It's like Goldilocks with dreams. Test out the chairs a little bit. Go. An exercise I give people is like, I think I've given this on a video before, but it's a good one. So take yourself to Barnes & Noble or some bookshop and set yourself free. Get a drink that you like. Now this is hurting my head. Ouch. Anyway, I've been decrowned. Oh no. You take yourself there and you let yourself explore and see what you're being drawn to. That's usually a clue as to some sort of heart's desire, and it can get you on your true path, be that career or just evolving as a human. We all go through phases where it's like, now I'm going to learn to be a beekeeper, and now I'm really being drawn towards crafting. I went through a scrapbooking phase that I'm like, I have no desire to do right now. But that's okay. Like, we all go through these phases of passion and excitement and exploration. Let those things guide you a bit. Those are answers as to what's next. You may be getting drawn to go to the water, to the beach, because you're going to meet somebody there who is going to offer you the job that's going to get you out of the awful one you're in now. You don't know why always that you're going to be drawn to something, but there's a reason. I believe that I was drawn to those cards and opened up my psychic ability because I was meant to help people this way. It's not something I ever thought would be a job. It was just something I loved to do. And acting, I always kind of knew it would be since I was little. So I'm having to honor that and started to step into that person that I've always wanted to be. I find myself really drawn to wearing red lipstick, so I wear red lipstick. You have to, somebody once said this to me, I'll end on this. This is a very long video. I usually do short ones. But if you're still with me, bear with me. This amazing woman, this mentor of mine said, you know, that woman that you always imagine you could be, that man you always imagine you can be if you're a man, you have to kind of start stepping into that suit. You got to take it out of someday and put it in today and start wearing that like energy like it's a suit. Put it on like it's an outfit. You are that person. I also have an exercise where I tell my clients, imagine yourself 10 years out, like already have everything you want and you are already the person you wanted to be. And then ask that person, when you're making decisions now, ask them what they think you should do. That's like asking your higher self what you think you should do. Or you can go even like, what would your deathbed person tell you is important here? But I like to just take it 5 years out or 10 years out because it's like they know. And that'll be your true answer. So experiment with that and see what they would tell you to do. Usually we have a lot of wisdom within ourselves that we are not trusting. We're looking outside for the answers. So let me know how that goes. And let me know, write down, how about for homework, if you guys feel like sharing, write down below some desires that have been in your heart, some exciting things that you've just been feeling like exploring but maybe afraid to do. It could be a hobby, like, I don't know, planes, painting things, hiking. What is your latest obsession? Please share it with us. Love to hear about that. So have a great day, and I will talk to you all soon.